There's a genocide that is going on right now that is not making very many headlines. We hear about the conflict in Ukraine. We hear about the conflict in Gaza and the state of Israel. We hear about potential genocides from both sides, especially in Gaza and the state of Israel. You probably haven't heard very much about the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, which is a conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan, a Muslim country, Armenia, a Christian country. Not only a Christian country, the oldest Christian country in the world. A country that converted at a national level to Christianity in the early 4th century. And right now, Azerbaijan not only ethnically cleansed a territory formerly held by the Armenians, Nagorno-Karabakh, but now threatens the Armenian people more broadly. So how did this happen? Azerbaijan claimed this territory, the Nagorno-Karabakh, because Stalin and the Soviet Union came in and conquered Azerbaijan and Armenia, and Stalin essentially gave this territory to Azerbaijan. Then the Soviet Union collapses. Then there's conflict over the territory. There's a ceasefire in 1994. And in 1994, this region, full of Armenians, but not within the borders of what we now call present-day Armenia, declares itself the Republic of Artsakh and is allowed to exist in practice as an independent state within Azerbaijan. Then, more than 16 years later, 26 years later, I guess, the conflict gets a little bit hot again. In 2020, there were border clashes. It ends with Azerbaijan coming in and taking big portions of the Republic of Artsakh, which is sort of Armenia, but not exactly Armenia, but it's filled with Armenians, but even Armenia wouldn't recognize the independence of the Republic of Artsakh. Then what happened? The Azerbaijanis continue to get more and more aggressive against the Armenians. Why? Because Russia, which had been under Stalin one of the causes of this conflict, had actually been the peacekeepers. But Russia got bogged down in the Ukraine war. Had Russia just gone in and ended the Ukraine war within 2 weeks, you probably wouldn't have seen this break out, or it wouldn't have gotten as bad as it did. But because Russia ended up getting bogged down in the war in Ukraine, which is still ongoing, the conflict begins to fester. Now, Azerbaijan comes in and blockades the Takin, I'm probably mispronouncing that, corridor, and cuts off Nagorno-Karabakh from the outside world. So it cuts off these Armenians from the outside world, and all the kinds of atrocities that you hear about, the starvation, the blockades, the death, the rape, the violence, you hear about coming from this region. So then what happens? Now things are even dicier. Israel, which is a U.S. ally, took the side of Azerbaijan. Why did Israel? This is my biggest complaint against the state of Israel in recent years. Israel takes the side of Azerbaijan because Azerbaijan is an ally of, or is an opponent, rather, of Iran. And Iran is the biggest enemy of Israel. So Iran, a Muslim country, takes the side of Armenia, the Christian country, against the other Muslim country, Azerbaijan. Russia, which had been to some degree protecting the rights of the Armenians, could come in now and take the side of Azerbaijan because Azerbaijan seems to be winning the conflict. What about Turkey? What is the United States' role here? I, for one, as an American, would like to see us protect the Armenians out of Christian solidarity, if for nothing else.